This is A Beautiful Horizon, where we talk about homemaking, homeschooling, and intentional living. Today we're going to be talking about a homeschool mom or stay-at-home mom morning routine. So I have always wanted to be a morning person and have never talked about myself as being a morning person. I have always struggled and wanted to be a morning person, but just had a hard time with the whole idea. And I've always been a night owl. I've always stayed up too late, and then I've gotten up later, and then the day just gets out of control really quickly. And I noticed that especially with social media being so available all the time, when I stay up late and I get up late and I'm tired throughout the day, it's so much easier for me to get lost in the scroll. So when I get good rest and I'm not as tired, I'm less likely to pick up my phone and just start scrolling instead of doing the things that I want to do to be in the place that I want to be with my home and my kids and my life. So this week I have really been curbing my social media time. I deleted Instagram altogether for the week, and my life has run a lot more smoothly. So I'm trying to figure out the balance between socializing with my friends online and living my life in my home, working with my hands, and not being so distracted during the day. So I read this book called Deep Work by Cal Newport. I will link it in the description box. And he talks about being able to do focused work and how our minds work best and we get the most done, we're the most productive when we can focus on one thing at a time. And he was saying that even something as small as checking your email can throw you off, because then you have to get back to where you were when you were focused, and our brain gets to a place where we're more efficient when we're doing one thing for a while. We can think about that one thing, but then when we switch to thinking about something else, we have to come back and we have to restart thinking about that one thing before we get to that place where we're in a state of flow where we can think more easily. And I see this as applying to homemaking as well. And now obviously we have children, so we're going to get distracted and we're going to have to multitask. But if we can cut out as many of those little switches or little mind switches as possible, it can be very helpful. So usually when someone is talking about Cal Newport's book, they are talking about business and strategy for business or entrepreneurship or deep thinking for writing a book or something like that. But I want to apply this to homemaking, because I do believe that these books can be applied to homemaking, and in a way that is helpful to us if we don't let them become a driving force in our lives. I don't want this to be a source of stress. It's supposed to be something that helps you to prioritize things and focus and get the things done that you want to get done. So we always have to take what someone else is sharing and apply it to our lives in our own specific way, because not everything that someone shares is always going to apply quite the way that they are presenting it. So when I read this book and I'm learning to focus on one thing at a time, this really helps me to not be thinking about homeschooling and wanting to read a book and wanting to clean my house and wanting to meal prep all at the same time, or whatever those things might be for you. So I can divide my day up. And a lot of people have talked about this as calendar blocking or whatever. And there can be different ways to do this. I've seen several different types of calendar blocking videos, and I think each of them has a good idea. So you have to find what works for you. I like using Google Calendar. That helps me because I don't have to keep rewriting things down. I can just write the event, and if it is something that has to be done on a regular basis, I can do a repeating event. And that in and of itself, just being able to use the repeating event or a repeating reminder option just saves me a lot of thinking. And I am a mom of 3, and so there's a lot of thinking going on. I have to, have things in order for all my kids and, our life. So there's a lot there. And even if you are a student maybe, or maybe you are a homemaker without children, or maybe you are a businesswoman or person, whatever it is for you, there's going to be obviously some deviations from what I do. But I really enjoy having some time in the morning for reading and study and that sort of thing. I like to get my coffee going and then start a load of laundry, which is a fly lady thing, and empty the dishwasher. And then I can sit down and just relax for a little while. And then sometimes my kids join me and they sit there and I relax with them. And And I've decided that I cannot do a workout routine in the morning because when my kids come out, they like to lay with me, on top of me, sit with me while I do whatever I'm doing. So working out in the morning really doesn't work for me right now, but maybe someday, and there's a lot of these things that we just have to tweak for the season that we are currently in. And maybe we're gonna have to change them again later when our season changes again. But for right now, I've decided working out in the morning is not the thing for me at this time. So I will do something like reading a book. So if one of my kids comes out and wants to just snuggle with me, we can be on the couch or on a chair, and they can just sit with me, and it's not a problem, and it's not an interruption. I can keep studying whatever I'm studying, or reading, or writing, or planning. Those sorts of things I can do in the morning where I'm just sitting there, and then I'm not getting frustrated at them, and they can just come snuggle with me, and it's all good. So these are the things that I have been putting in my calendar, and then changing, tweaking, moving, kind of just seeing what fits where, and really thinking about what it is that I want to be doing with my time. And I actually read a book, and I didn't agree with everything in the book, but I got a couple of good takeaways, which is good enough for me. And one of those was to have a list of things that you can do in 30 minutes or less that you want to be doing. Maybe you want to learn to play guitar. So for me, I have a guitar and I know a little bit, but I would like to learn a little more. So I bought an easy beginner's guitar book, and I have that on my list of things that I could do in 10 minutes or 30 minutes. And I have that little book by my guitar, and I have my guitar out in my room on a little guitar stand, so it's not put away, so I never see it. And so I can do that in little amounts of time. In little amounts of time, I could do one round on Duolingo to learn Spanish or French or Italian or German or whatever it is that you want to learn. And that's something that I can do quickly, and it's helping me towards something that I want, like learning a language. There are other things maybe you can do in a half an hour. Maybe you can do a short little run where you're doing couch to 5K to train for a 5K or whatever it is. So she says in this book, which I will also link below, even though I didn't really agree with a lot of the things she said, but it was fine, that you need a list of the dreams, like anything. She's like 100, make it 100, so it could be anything. It doesn't have to be like super fancy, and but it could be totally like extravagant dreams, things that you want to work towards, and have a list of those things. And then also have a list for things that you can do in 10 minutes to work towards something that you want to learn or do or whatever, and another list for things you can do in 30 minutes or less. And so when you have these little pockets of time, instead of picking up your phone and scrolling, you can actually be working towards something that you want to do in your life. And she was saying the point of her book was that everyone has 168 hours in the week. That's the name of the book. And you can fit in the things that are important to you, whether that's playing with your kids or making a homemade meal or learning another language or an instrument or whatever. So it's really a matter of planning and figuring it out. And of course, having wiggle room for when things come up, when things change, that's fine. But it can actually help your mindset to have a plan. And then if you have to deviate from that plan, at least you know what your goals were or are, and how you can change what you're doing without totally getting off track and being unable to get back on. You can see the things that maybe you changed or skipped, and you can plan for those again later. And so these are things that are helping me. I by no means have my life all together, but there are things that I would like to accomplish in my time here. And I think it's nice to be able to do those things, even in small amounts of time, that I can get closer to my goals, even while taking care of home and all those sorts of things, and knowing that I'm going to have to balance these things. My home is never going to be 100% clean. My kids are never going to be perfect. My hair is not always going to be perfectly done, but I can choose what I want to do with my time. Even as a stay-at-home mom, when we see so many memes and everything about just like struggling to get to bedtime so we can have chocolate and wine or whatever. We can do more if we want to, if we put the time in, if we go to bed early, if we don't get distracted by things late at night. And obviously there are going to be seasons that are harder. I've been there. I have 3 kids, and I know that there are times when you don't get much sleep, when you are tired, when it's hard to climb out of the hole. But I want to be here to encourage you that when we put our minds to it, we can figure things out little by little, and we have hope and glory. God loves us so much, And I know that even when things are hard, you are not alone, and you can get through the tough seasons and see a beautiful horizon. So I just wanted to say thank you for watching this video. I'm very glad you're here. Please subscribe if you like encouraging homemaking, homeschooling, and intentional living videos. And like this video if you liked it. That really helps my channel when people like the video and more people get to see it because of that. So thank you so much for that. I will see you in my next video. If you want to turn on the bell notification, that's great. I don't do bell notifications because I have all my notifications off, but check back and join my email list if you want to get an email instead. I feel like that's less intrusive because then you can just check your email whenever you want to. And the link to join the email list is in the description. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Speaking of making time and making things work, half of this video was filmed with a 4-year-old in my lap. So that's real life for you.